Ziad Abdelnour is a visionary. He is one of the few people to be extremely bold about what he says, and it's just refreshing. It's a rarity, and I think that's something that this think tank, the Financial Policy Council, has been able to establish.
My name is Todd Dean.
My name is Raj Manian.
I'm Candice Dial.
My name is Zohari Panapali.
My name is Carol Cusimano.
My name is Carl Schlegel.
I was introduced to Ziad from one of my best friends, Sean Campbell.
You know, Ziad is not afraid to take a bull by the horns.
Primarily, I believe that he has been having a lot of experience in terms of financial policies.
Ziad Abdelnour is a visionary. He is one of the few people to be extremely bold about what he says.
Politically, we're in the exact same place.
He's a very, very shrewd businessman.
I call him one of those people with a C factor. He cares.
He speaks his mind.
And I think that I've known him for years and years, and I think his reputation also stands for itself.
I think that I just began reading Ziad's book. It's extremely interesting.
What you see is what you get. Let me put it that way.
And it's just refreshing. It's a rarity, and I think that's something that this think tank, the Financial Policy Council, has been able to establish.
He practices in what he believes.
As far as his credibility and ethics within the community, delivering on what he says, which I think can be lost in society today based on just greed and power.
Very transparent person. He calls it like it is.
I think he's very controversial, and I do believe that controversy creates change. If you want change, sometimes you have to instigate a little bit of controversy, and I'm happy to see him doing that.
He can be a great role model for the youth.
I'm really happy to see Ziad out there stirring things up, and I wish him the best.
His speeches can be very, very inspiring.
I think he's got a personality that can reach a lot of people.
He has the will to move forward.
And he believes in encouraging others to become successful.
When he invited me to speak, it was a no-brainer. I was in town for my actual book tour. Perfect timing.
And that he is mobilizing a group of people to do something about it.
He does the right thing, at least since I've been involved with him.
Ziad Abdelnour is one of the most interesting men on the face of the planet. When he beats up people, his victims thank him.
With over 30 years of experience in finance, involvement in over 125 transactions, totaling in aggregate over $10 billion, and over 300,000 followers on Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn, Ziad Abdelnour's massive success is nothing short of inspiring. Ziad is a Wall Street financier, activist, philanthropist, lobbyist, and author of best-selling book, Economic Warfare: Secrets of Wealth Creation in the Age of Welfare Politics. The president and CEO of Blackhawk Partners, a New York-based private equity family office. Ziad is the chairman and founder of the Financial Policy Council, and the president of the United States Committee for a Free Lebanon, is here with us today to share his rise to success. Thank you, Ziad, so much for being with us here today. Let's begin with the beginning, our childhood. So our experiences in childhood generally shape who we are as people today. Can you tell us a little bit about what your childhood was like?
I was born in Beirut, Lebanon. All what I remember is great things about my childhood. Very supportive parents. Beirut then was at its peak. was pretty much Paris of the Middle East. This is before the Civil War that started in 1975. The whole Middle East was a different area, away from all the trouble we see today. So it was a pretty great childhood. Studied a couple of years in France, came back to Lebanon. There was some period of calm. Went to the American University of Beirut, graduated from there in 1981. Then the situation was not getting better at all. I left Lebanon then and came to the United States. And I've been in the US since then, since early '82. I travel a lot, but my base is New York.
Having just graduated college, I feel like the beginning of one's career is always the toughest. So can you tell us what were some of the initial challenges you faced in your rise to success?
Well, you know, it was a cultural shock. You know, coming to the United States, not knowing anyone, or maybe one friend I had who lived in New York City, and going and making my mark. I knew I was not going to live like a normal person and be a number. I knew I was not going to be the type of guy who was going to take the subway forever and live a normal life. So I said, I have two choices. Either go back to Lebanon and live the Dolce Vita life, or bring New York to its knees and be somebody here. I chose the latter because of my fighting warrior personality. And I don't regret it.
Did you have a vision for your success?
Yes, since very young. I said to myself, I figured out, this is my ideal day. This is what I would like to be doing when I wake up, during the day, and when I go to bed. So let me plan my life to be able to live that day every day of my life. When I was very young, so I looked, where do I want to be, and go backward. Not, you know, I'd like to do that. I know exactly. As a matter of fact, you know, the strange part, it was reflected in me. When I was in high school in Beirut, you know, the students write a small word under each photo to how they see, how they perceive this guy or that guy to be. I never thought then that I was going to be in New York. They wrote under my name, I'd rather be on Fifth Avenue. One day, in finance, in New York. I don't know why, because maybe the way I was, you know, behaving or portraying myself, I don't know. I didn't know much about my family, but, you know, I talked about the States, you know. In fact, we grew up in an environment with my father. You know, a lot of the people, a lot of my friends' fathers in the Middle East, their heroes are people from the Arab world. My father never had any hero from the Arab world. My father, you know, was raised and educated in England. So he was always looked at the Anglo-Saxon world, not the Arab world. We were raised in very Western traditions, education, competition. You know, his heroes were guys like JFK, JP Morgan, etc. So we grew up in this environment. I'm Catholic. My mother's name is Rose. So he really wanted us to feel like, you know what, we should live like the Kennedys. This was his big hero family. So he looked at the Kennedys and all these American families. So when I was really young, I always talked about the United States, United States, United States. Even when I went to Europe, you know, during the Civil War, it wasn't really Europe. But I knew one day I was going to end up in the United States. And my father used to say it a number of times, Lebanon is too small for you and your ambitions. And you know what? The period of immigration from Lebanon, especially the Christians of Lebanon, started really in the late 1800s. So Lebanon itself has only 4 million people, but if you look at the immigrants of those of Lebanese descent outside Lebanon, you have around 15 million. So the United States was for me the ultimate place to be. I guess this is how they portray it. I always compared everything to the US. Like a lot of the Lebanese people who come to the US compare everything to Lebanon.
We all have people who we admire and aspire to be like. Who was your role model?
I think my first role model was a politician in Lebanon who I admired pretty much, who at the age of 34 years old became elected as president of Lebanon. His name is Bashir Gemayel. You know, he was a rebel. He wanted Lebanon to be the second country in the Arab world to sign a peace treaty with Israel. The same thing that Anwar Sadat did with Egypt. I think that was pretty revolutionary.
Education can be our most valuable investment. Tell us a little bit about your educational decisions.
At the end of the day, it's all about you know, education, contacts. It's all about monetizing your know-how and your relationships. Money is the fuel for everything you want to do. I'm not here grabbing money for the sake of loving money, no. But for the sake of accomplishing what you want to do in life, you need the fuel. The fuel is money. Money is about one thing only, is about freedom. When you acquire enough money, you have the freedom to do whatever you want, whenever you want, without being accountable or basically being obedient or listening to any boss. If you have big ambitions, you can write about it as much as you want. You can talk about it as much as you want. If you don't have the means to execute on your ideas and dreams, you won't be able to get there. And to execute, you need the money is the fuel. So it's not my love of money, it's rather my ambitions in life that need to be executed, and money is the fuel.
We spoke about how money is the fuel for anything you want to do in life. Now, despite that fact, are there any challenges you face in the day-to-day operation of your business?
I like to avoid negative people, bureaucrats, and idiots, and there are plenty of them around. People who suck on your time, who do not respect your time, who are not very ambitious. Look, at the end of the day, the kind of people I like to hang out with are people who have big dreams, one, two, who can execute flawlessly, who can get the stuff done, and three, who are having a lot of fun and good time doing one and two.
You have a great wealth of skills and knowledge. How do you use that to empower those around you and yourself?
Well, you know, this is what I live for. I mean, success is about empowering people. You acquire money to become successful, to empower people. That's how it goes. The more people you empower, the more successful they're going to be, you're going to be. Look, what's happening today, there's an economic warfare, and I talk about it in my book, between the wealth takers and the wealth creators. The wealth takers being big brother, big government, who wants to control your life and your destiny and everything. And the wealth creators are people who want to make things happen. Right now, the wealth takers are winning with this administration. I want to be the catalyst, one of the catalysts, who tips the balance. I want to create as many millionaires as I can in my lifetime. Same thing goes for me, billionaires and others. To really become, because you know what, once the individual has reached this level of maturity, of experience, of empowering others, this is how you create jobs, this is how you create opportunities. You know, so basically, today there's a lot of wealth bashing. Frankly, you have to defend the rich, not attack them. Because these are the guys who create the jobs, who create the opportunities, who empower more people. So I'm in really for empowering as many people as I can through education, through empowerment, through political process, through business, etc.
What steps will you do then to create these opportunities for people?
I'm not a government guy. I don't want to meddle with this. My answer to that is very simple. The best revenge is creating obscene wealth. The more you empower people to really become, I'll tell you the difference between being rich and being wealthy. Being rich is, let's go to the Bahamas. Being wealthy is, let's go to the Bahamas now. So at the end of the day, you know, you empower more people to behave like this. You're going to have more independent thinkers who are not going to brainwash by the disinformation and misinformation than government and religion do. Look, in my opinion, I want to say something pretty controversial. The two biggest enemies to mankind are government and religion. More people died in the name of socialism, communism, capitalism, government stuff, fascism, and religion. So I try to stay away from that. I'm not here, I am not running into any office. I have no interest in running any office. My interest is empowering people. This is much more powerful and effective than running into any office, and become a power broker rather than a public figure.
The path to success is oftentimes elusive. What are 5 steps you recommend for people to take in their pursuit of wealth?
Well, number one, you know what? Number one, you have to be yourself. You can't fool yourself. A lot of people are fake. Don't force it. You either have it or you don't. Number 2, you have to love people. I truly love them. Because if you don't have this love and affinity for people, and it's going to be shown, you can't fake this. Number 3, you have to share your knowledge, your experience. Give without thinking about somebody giving you back, and you will take back manifold. I give a lot and I receive much more in return. I never ask for it. It comes from them, it comes from anywhere. Some people I meet, I had discussions with, I don't see for 10 years. And then in a party, in a reception, I see them. They recognize me. Oh, Ziad, I met you like 10 years ago. You said this to me, you gave me this advice, it changed my life. So that's 3 or 4. And 5, look, you have to be relentless in your goals. You have to keep your integrity. You can't flip-flop. You know, you're right, you're wrong. You have to keep going. You will learn with time if you're wrong. You will make the mistakes, that's fine. You bite the bullet, that's fine. Relentless. And you have to be a sponge, always acquiring information, etc., because it's an ever-changing world. You can't sleep on your laurels. You can't sit down, relax. There's no relax. There is relaxation, but you have to really balance your life. It's a long story, but if you want me to tell you the 5 steps, these are the key steps.
In that pursuit, how does happiness play a role?
I mean, it's not a question of pursuit. It's not going to keep an eye on the happiness. You have to change your attitude. Success is 90% attitude. You have to love what you do. I'm having a blast doing what I do. So what are we going to retire for? To do what? I mean, if you don't feel like this, change your life now. Do what you love. Surround yourself with real smart people. Avoid the negativism. Avoid everything that's political or religious. It will cloud your judgment. And relieve yourself from all the shackles. People have shackles in life. Inhibitions, complexes, because his father told him that, or his uncle told him this, or his wife. Out. You have to be a free-spirited, free mind, independent, fierce about it. And you'll go very far, much further than you expect.
Thank you, Ziad, for your advice, insight, and wisdom. Thank you to our viewers for watching. We hope that after watching this interview, you now feel inspired and empowered to confidently navigate your path to personal success. For more information on Ziad, visit www.blackhawkpartners.com. Have a great day and, as Ziad would say, bring New York to its knees.
I would like to show my audience the book that Ziad has written, and if you can, buy a copy for yourselves. It has much more information than what was covered in this brief interview, and it would be a great thing in the wealth creation process. Thank you.